I am a native Houstonian, born and raised right here in Houston. The thing that I gravitated to at a young age was theater. I had a middle school teacher who kind of took to me and said, you know, you have talent in this. It was the first time I got like attention from an adult as a kid that said like, you actually are really good at this. The funny thing is I wanted to do sports. I loved basketball, I loved football, I loved baseball. I wanted to do all of that. But directors and the theater teachers were just like, you could really do this. Your timing, you understand script. It was kind of like a reluctant push. It wasn't until I kind of got into the competition of it. My middle school teacher told me about HSPVA, and that was like the ultimate competition. It was kind of like, hey, if you're good, well, there's a school that specializes in what you do, the arts. If you want to audition for it, you would have to beat out thousands of kids from all over Texas that want to get into the school. And that's all you had to tell me. I was like, really? Yeah, let me see if I can beat out all these kids. I made the callbacks, and then when I finally got that letter that I got in, it was really awesome. So from that point on, because PVA is almost like going to a young conservatory, they just focus on theater. That is where the direction of my life went. I was hooked, and I was like committed to it since high school. After PVA, I went to U of H, their theater department. Awesome. I worked with people that were amazing. After college, I went to LA for a while and worked in television a bit, worked in some movies. I actually wrote a little bit. And then in 2007, there was a huge writer's strike. And I made a decision to move back to Texas where I knew I could teach theater, still work because I was still kind of embedded in the theater community in Houston, and just make some money. Also wanted to start a business. This is where we get into how I met Prasad. So I started a small business, like my own production company, and I started like all young production companies. We started by doing Shakespeare because it's like no licensing, but it spread out to other things. So it spread out to me also writing skits for fundraisers, but the money was still tight. And I did something I said I would never do, and I got into business, but on the corporate side. So I was, believe it or not, I worked for a Nestle corporation. That wasn't my thing, even though I was making good money at it, and I was, moving up, a regional manager. But in the end, it wasn't what I wanted to do, and I made a huge, hard life decision. So I was like scraping by. You need resources to go back and start the company again, and I was doing everything from like doing deliveries for people just to make cash to save to restart my production company. And that is how I met Prasad Menon. Prasad mistakenly like ordered something, so I go to his house. Prasad was more interested in like what I was doing and who I was, and he like took an immediate interest in me. I have a production company where I sometimes produce things, write things. So he was like, yeah, I'm gonna invest in you, get you back on your feet, get back into theater. So he introduced me to Bayou Microfund, and that's how he funded me. And Prasad doesn't just fund you, he kind of like stays on you. He called me and he was just like, hey, what steps are you taking with your production company? Who are you getting in contact with? And he followed me all throughout, like getting jobs. I started working at Hits Theater. I became their head director there for their children's program. From Hits, I got the opportunity to move on and work where I am at now, Westbury Christian School, their theater director here, theater instructor, and it's been fantastic. I mean, all these things fell into line. Now, if we're moving to what's the future, because I'm still working in theater with local theaters, building up the production company and just growing every day.